Oh, we were okay. Sorry. Hello, we're here. I'm excited to be with you. We're using some new technology this week, so bear with us. Doesn't look like there's going to be any problems, though. I'm really into this. So, hello, Carrie. How are you?
Hey, Rachel, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I look like I've just been swallowed up by this like big mossy cocoon, and it's because I have. This is actually a whole big dress, and it's like the biggest sweater I've ever owned, and I love it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And I want to tell you, you look amazing. I watched a video from you this morning and I was like, look at her. Is her camera better? Is her makeup better? Is something, but you are just glowy and yeah, you've got it going on this morning. So
Well, thank you, thank you. That's the power of live streaming. Um, you can, you know, you can get away with some stuff. But anyway, we're here to talk about you and your business, or you're wanting to have a business. This year was revelatory for a lot of people because it shows that you really can't rely on anything but yourself. And, if you're in a company that faced closure and losses and layoffs, there's nothing you can really do about that. But if you have your own business, you can pivot, even if you are a brick and mortar establishment. There are things you can do to bring things online to get your community excited. And, we teach people how to have their own business, not from a cookie cutter model, but based on what it is that you love doing, what your talents are, where you've already been in your life that you can lean on for wisdom and guidance and confidence. And so we're here to talk about that, but also about you. So if you have any questions about intuitive art or our certification programs, just let us know in the comments. And we're here to have a discussion. So speaking of the video that I sent out yesterday, and thank you, Carrie, for sending it out today. Let's just start there, Carrie. So I think the people who are on this call saw that video, and if you didn't, you can go to our intuitive art uploads page, because you're already on YouTube, I'm assuming, watching this, and it's 3 tips for taking 3 tips for going from part-time to full-time self-employment. So did you resonate at all with my story, Carrie?
oh my goodness,
You had a
yes.
little bit of a different path.
Yes, but here's the thing. I think that the path that you traveled is the journey of every entrepreneur, right? There's various steps along the way that maybe happen in a slightly different order for different people, but in general, people tend to follow a fairly similar path. And a big portion of that path is that place of feeling a knowing that this is what you want to be doing, right? So for your story, it was like you were offering psychic readings and you loved doing that. And if that had grown all on its own, or that income had suddenly, quadrupled without you having to change anything in your life, you may have stayed there,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think for most people, one of the biggest issues is could this really be a viable business, right? Could I take this thing that I'm excited about, that I'm passionate about, that I know a lot about, that I just want to spend my time doing? Could I turn that into something that actually is a business, right? Something that pays me a full-time income. And I think that's a place where a lot of people just get stuck, right? I know the story that I told myself was like, well, would anybody really pay for that? Or, I mean, that's too easy. That was a big one for me. Like, that seems too easy. I got to really complicate this.
Yeah, I know. And just to even insert myself here, that's why the Intuitive Art Academy took so long, because I had the same, we would call that like a limiting belief. I couldn't just go into what was easiest for me. I kind of had to go like the hard, long way to this. And it's okay. It helped me grow my confidence. It helped me learn business. It was perfect, but I totally get what you're saying there.
Well, and that leads me to the next thing, and like that you talked about in your journey, which I think happens to a lot of people, is like, okay, I now have enough belief that it might be possible that I could turn this thing that I love into something that pays me a full-time income. Now I need to learn exactly how to do it perfectly, from do it the right way, from industry experts. And you and I have a similar story there, right? Where we felt like we sort of gave away our power in that we felt like, okay, well, this person made $1 million with one email. I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And they're saying, follow these 5 steps or these, whatever their marketing thing is. And I know you and I both did that and tried to do it perfectly when it wasn't feeling right, when it felt, and there's so much more to that phase of the business journey, right? Because our business journeys, our entrepreneurial journeys are a personal growth and discovery. And it's more than just, I'm learning business stuff. I feel like your entrepreneurial journey, at least for me, is a lot like my parenting journey. You can read all the books, but you still, right? It's incredibly introspective and figuring out what really matters to you and how do you want to show up in this situation? Like, it's way bigger than just click these buttons.
That makes so much sense too about parenting. I'm not a parent, so I never would have really thought about that, but it's so you're raising something.
Yeah.
You're producing something that never existed before, and you're getting other people engaged. It's a huge undertaking, but if you are doing it for the right reasons, if you are creating it in a way that is like bolstering your internal talents and desires, then it doesn't have to be crushing. Like, it can be a fun creation. But yeah, there's a lot to it, and you have to be present, like you're saying. You can't just like slap it together and not be with it and like feeling the feedback in your body about every decision that you make, because there's lots of decisions.
And yet, right, like you hear, last time you and I talked, we were talking about, birthing your book into the world. And I was saying how Deepak Chopra wrote like one of his most successful, famous books literally on a flight, right? There are moments, there are times in your, like, your $1 million idea may actually be like, a 30-second burst of insight in the shower. That, like, so it's not like things.
And it probably is.
Yeah. But back to the parenting analogy, a lot of people will say, like, in becoming a parent, they had to relearn how to parent themselves, right? That in becoming a parent, you're faced with you're faced with this little obstinate version of yourself a lot of the times. But either way, you're faced with decisions that force you to look inward at, like, ooh, what is this bringing up in me? Oh, how, like, you kind of do have to give yourself whatever it was that maybe you didn't get from your parents or however that is. And the same is true inside of our businesses, right? Like, as we're stepping into this new version of ourselves as an entrepreneur, as someone who's created something and putting that out in the world, it's a very different way of looking at yourself. And there is some inner work to be done. So that's what I like what you said in that video about, like, going from just following what the gurus were telling you to learning how to trust yourself, learning how to know what feels good, and being able to trust that if it feels good for you, it's worth pursuing. I thought that was a big one.
I think that's everybody's story. I mean, I know that's your story in particular, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, like interviewing successful business owners, and they all say the same thing. They had to make a decision that sometimes went in the face of all of the advice that was being given to them. But just because it felt right, they did it. And then, that's why we know them now. It's like they were maybe making a little money before, or maybe they were financially successful before, but they weren't happy and lit up and inspired. And that's not success. Like we don't want that. We could get a job if we just wanted money, but we want to feel alive, and we want to feel like every day is exciting. I love waking up in the morning and asking myself, like, how do I want to feel today? And just like the smile comes because I know I don't have to force anything. It's just I love what I do. And when I start feeling stale or uninspired, then I get to change that. I get to add something new. I get to go in a different direction. And for me, that's the most important thing is I lead my life and I lead my business, and the success follows me because I'm the one in charge. And I think that that's even a really different way of looking at business than, I was never taught that. I had to learn that by trial and error, by trying to stick it out in something I wasn't really enjoying and seeing the money dry up, and then finally giving into what I really want to do, and then the money coming back. Like I had to see that that was the pattern for me. And thank God it was, because I could be, in a very unhappy place right now if I was just following money. But luckily I don't have to. Like all of it can be in one place when you approach it in the way that we teach, and if you just follow your inner guidance, because we come from a philosophy that we want you to have multidimensional results. We want all the things in your life to be great, not just one area. We don't want you to sacrifice anything. We don't want you to be giving your power away, giving anything away. We want you to have work that you love, clients that you love, products that you love, relationships that you love, a schedule that you love. All the things can work together in a harmonious way. And in fact, when you get on that momentum, it's a flywheel. It all leads into another, and like everything keeps getting better and better at the same time. And I love watching that happen for people too. I just love watching our graduates blossom and find their way. And, like it's ease. The biggest thing that I get when people do our level 2 training, which is like where we get into all of this coaching and working with clients and business integration, is like they didn't know it could be this easy, because we go to their truth mechanism first. We're not trying to like put something on top of them and then say, okay, you find your way through this. We say, what does this look like for you? How is this for you? And we just help them from the get-go make something that's really personal and perfect. So yeah, I love watching this, and I love letting it be easy, and I love watching them succeed.
Well, and Rachel, that's what I love so much about your approach, right? Like when you and I found each other, so Rachel and I found each other inside of a business-minded group for people who wanted to find other people who could promote them, right? Like that's why we were there, was that we were looking for other people with similar businesses, with complementary businesses who would be willing to promote us and our stuff. And I found Rachel in there. And at the time, I was fairly successful in doing, this was how long ago it was. It was a weekly Google Hangout on air, which those don't even exist anymore. But I was in my joy doing that. I was excited. Just showing up and talking to people about what they were doing and getting interested and excited about what they were doing. And I think that that was totally the right place for me to be at that moment, because what I was actually doing was learning all the different ways that people could succeed, right? Hearing firsthand all the different stories of people saying, people like Rachel saying, oh, I tried to do this and I worked with this coach and I did that. And then I finally trusted myself and boom, everything happened, right? Still took me a while, but longer, longer than I would have liked. But eventually I got to my moment where I'm like, I'm just going to trust myself. What's the worst that could happen? And that's what I like about what you teach and how you teach it, is because it doesn't have to become something that happens years down the road when you finally get frustrated enough. Because for me, it was like I was finally so frustrated that I was like, whatever, nothing's working. I might as well continue to not make money doing something that feels better. And then boom, right? But that's what I like about, I feel like everyone should start here. Right? That's what I feel like, oh, if we as entrepreneurs, or as parents for that matter, but if we could learn from the beginning to trust ourselves and to learn how to trust ourselves and to learn to recognize, what the signals along the way that are like just little lights on the path going, go this way, follow this way, right? If we can learn that from the beginning, and then learn, that's honestly, Rachel, what I love about what you do is learn how to build a business around what lights you up from the beginning, instead of here's the structure of a business, now fit what lights you up into it. Like that's, I mean, maybe I'm like over, but it's radical in our space. It's radical. And yet when we're saying it, we're like, why wouldn't everyone start here?
I mean, I think, so here's what I've observed over the years. And look, all the teachers that I ever learned from taught me something. And I really did get something out of every training I ever took, even when I didn't know it at the time, which happened too. But people stumble into success and then they think they learned the key to success. So if you got success speaking from stage, that's what those people are going to teach more than likely. If they found success with referrals in their coaching business, that's what they're going to teach. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but there's a disconnect because they think that's why they were successful, but it's not. They were successful because in some way they found alignment with themselves and their multidimensional energy, and they were allowing enough to let that amount of success in. Now, we don't know how happy these people are. We don't know the rest of their lives, if it's everything they ever wanted, if it's a schedule that they like, because often I see big experts, then come out with like, oh, but I was so burnt out, and here's a training on how to not be burnt out. And it's like, but you were just teaching all these people how to do this. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's human. We're all growth. We're all, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to make anybody wrong, but I don't think a lot of people understand why things work for them. And so for me, having this foundation of like, no, you create your life. So you get to create your business, you get to create your income, you get to create what kind of relationships you have, you get to create everything in your life, and we'll teach you how to do that and how to build a structure that works for you so that you can experience that in the real world with real money that you can buy food with and pay your mortgage with. So yes, I think no matter what you're doing, even if you're not looking to build a business, learn to trust yourself. Use intuitive art, use meditation, use whatever you can to get in touch with your feedback mechanism, because that's an invaluable skill. I mean, if you learn how to really be in touch with yourself and be sensitive to how you're feeling and learn how you create your life, there's no stopping you. It's just the best skill that you could have.
You said, learn how you create your life. And yes, Like, yes. I was running with a friend this morning, and she was telling me she's a fun one, and she was telling me how she had got into this like battle, this like war in some mom group online, and it was like someone had reached out and asked for help. And my friend's response was maybe less than helpful. Maybe it was a little bit more judgmental than actually helpful. But the point of the interaction was this person who was asking for help wasn't actually asking for help. She was sort of just complaining. She didn't want to receive help. She just wanted to kind of like, can anyone else relate to how miserable this is? I swear there's a point to this, Rachel, in case you're like, where the heck is she going? And as we were running, I was like, isn't it interesting how many people don't recognize when they're making a choice? Because this woman was complaining. She was basically doing her son's homework and complaining that, the kids are assigned too much, or this is too whatever. And so it's 1 a.m. and I'm doing my son's homework and help. And I was like, isn't it interesting that she can't see that she could just make the choice not to do it, right? That she could make she doesn't see it as a choice. And I think that is, I was also in a conversation a week ago with someone who I just admire so much. And I was asking him about his career trajectory and like, how did you create this life that a lot of people want? Right. And as he and I spoke, it was so clear that it was because he deliberately created it. He had choices that other people probably would have thought, I don't have a choice. Right. Like when it came down to, he said he almost lost his house 3 times. And we don't want that to happen to anybody. But in those times, a lot of people would have said, well, I have to go back to my job, or I have to, right. They would have. And he made a conscious choice to continue to follow that little light inside of him, right? And he and I had this long conversation around most people don't recognize that we're creating our lives all the time, right? With our choice to feel this instead of that, or to look at it this way instead of that way. And it was interesting because we were sitting around with a bunch of like very conventionally employed people. And he and I were having this conversation around like, we get to choose if we're happy or not. We get to choose and we get to choose our schedules, and we get all of it we chose. And of course now he's, I think he's 59 and he's quite comfortable, and he's got an existence just like you and I are talking about, more amazing than he could have ever imagined. But it was also because he chose to continue down that path that was calling him, in a moment where most people would have said, I don't have a choice.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, it's interesting that, we're here talking about a program and a business, but it really comes down to do we feel like we have a choice in our lives to do what we want to do, to follow our little spark of inspiration and curiosity? The biggest things that ever happened in my life happened because I made a choice to go against what my family or my loved ones were telling me to do. And it's funny because at the time I felt like I didn't have a choice but to make that decision for myself. Of course I did, but the choice would have been be unhappy, be miserable, go against my truth, right? Or take the unpopular path. And every single time I took the unpopular path because I couldn't turn my back on myself like that. But we often in life get so numb to that feeling. We get so used to making the choice that is presented to us as the right choice. And so becoming more sensitive to how you feel and knowing that you can choose happiness, you can make more choices than you think you can. And that doesn't mean you're disrespecting anyone. And it doesn't mean that you're throwing your life away. And it doesn't mean that you're choosing happiness or financial stability. All of that is just a mess of beliefs that we're kind of given as we grow up in this country. And we don't even live in an interdependent culture. Like, we live in a very individualistic culture, but we still get that. So yeah, it's not always easy to make the step to choose yourself and to choose your truth and your happiness, but it's just in our minds. It's really just in our minds. And once we make that step, it almost instantly becomes abundantly clear that it was the right choice to make. And in all of the cases, every single one of those unpopular decisions that I've made in my life, it's always brought me closer to those people who said that I was crazy. So, yeah, I'm sure you can look back on your own life and see that for yourself. If you've ever done something kind of, if you were the black sheep in the family, or if you've taken a path that, wasn't prescribed for you, you can see how it worked out.
Well, and I think, we tend to think of the choice is either or, right? But almost all of the choice, actually, every choice we make in alignment is an and. Like, I can't tell you how many choices that I've made in my business where I felt like it was either or, right? Not in my business, in my life, where I felt like, I have to choose between myself and an income. But really, I'm choosing myself and an income, not between. I have to choose myself or an income, right?
Yeah.
It's both. And I don't know if that's just the big lie we tell ourselves, or if it's just semantics, but it feels real. It feels like when I'm choosing this, I have to give up that. And the beauty is, when you choose an alignment, you never are giving up what you want.
Yeah, that's the path to allowing what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, so if you don't mind, I kind of want to talk about your program, because in case people are watching and they're like, what are they talking about? And I'm curious, and I definitely want to know more. Just talk about it, because it is robust and it is aligned. And I feel like it is so freaking magical, because I come from so many buy this program and learn this little excerpt of how to do. Okay, here's where I come from, and maybe a lot of you guys are here, where great marketing tells you, if you just buy this one more thing, all your problems will be solved and you'll make $1 million. And what I love about what you offer is it's the foundation for all of that. It does teach you the little things that you need to know, but I'll just let you go. You go.
Okay, me go. I believe in structure and flow. So I'm a big proponent of things being organized, things being taught in a way that you build your skills as you go along. And so we've worked very methodically on creating our curriculum to teach you all about intuitive art, of course, and how to use it way bigger than in the free class. There are different drawing structures and types, and how to read more colors so you have more clarity and depth, and you get to learn how to really master the technique so that you're confident in being able to get clarity for yourself and for anyone else that you're working with, client, student, etc. And we have you teach it, and we have you do one-on-ones with people so that you build your confidence while you're in the class. And then in the full program, which is what we're really talking about today, we're teaching you how people create their lives in a very easy to understand framework, and then how to work with people to help them get these multidimensional results in a way that's really easy. So it's a framework for coaching or intuitive counseling, or just even working one-on-one with people. You don't have to call yourself that, but it's how I work with my private coaching clients, and have had for years. and have just watched them find a place of ease and allowing, like we're talking about, which is when they honor their truth, and then see their businesses and their lives explode with awesomeness. Like everything all at once, amazing. The car they always thought they wanted but couldn't have, and the months of vacation every year in Europe and painting all over the world, and also $25,000 business clients coming in out of the blue because they took the vacation. Like, I have lots of other client stories, but you can read about that in a different place if you want to. But that's what I teach you guys too. The same exact method that I have used in my coaching business for a long time. And it's just a framework. It's nothing that I even made up. It's something that is founded in universal law and just works for everyone because it's about their truth. It's not about me. It's not about you. And we just teach you the mechanics of that and how to work with someone no matter what state they're in. If they don't have any problems at all, how to make their life better. If they have problems, how to help them find the solution that's the perfect fit for them. And that's a huge part of the full program, because that can be incorporated into anything that anyone's doing, because we're all working with people, right? So that's part of it. But there's also the part of it where we help you design and find the right business for you. So we have a system for mining your gold and finding out what you've already done and what you love to do and what kind of life you want. Do you want a life that is, half business, half travel? Do you want to be on the road all the time? Do you want to be holed up in your house and just a hermit because that's what you love? So we work with all of your desires and all of your skills and loves and design something for you that's going to be a great fit for now, but leaving you with the tools to adapt and pivot whenever you want to. We don't really see this. A lot of people, when they're getting into business, think they have to find the one thing that's going to satisfy them for life. And that really freaks them out. But that's not really the case. You just find what's right for you right now, what you're excited about right now, and then you'll adapt it as you grow. The new thing that we're doing as well is, so all of that is very personalized and hands-on. You even get 2 hours with me privately, so we can make sure that what you created, it really is in your joy and sustainable, and will help you with your pricing and everything. But then there's this graduation manual that we've just created, and it's about how to take what you've learned and make it real, because sometimes we lose focus and we can get lost in the sea of decisions that we have to make. How do I market myself? How do I share? What business model am I in? Oh my God, how am I making money? Right? So we've designed everything to fit you, but then sometimes people, they lose touch. So we've created a method that you can insert yourself in wherever fits for you and relax, knowing that you have more of a game plan for making money and making it consistent. So we feel like we've covered all the bases. It's been working for people who don't even have this new part of it. But we're constantly making things better, which is why I'm teaching this live again, starting next month. So if you want to work with me live and in person as much as we can over a Zoom or GoToMeeting, then sign up for this now, because I taught it once last year live, but I don't know if I'll be doing it again. So if you want to have me as your teacher, then definitely come in now. And I'm excited to work with people. This is what I love to do. I love helping people grow their skills and their confidence. And as you go through this, you're not just learning how to work with other people and help them create their dream life, you're learning it on you first. And so it's like coaching with me, but for a lot less money. And the community that forms as well is so precious. Like, the people, it's funny too, because these are recorded, and so other students will probably be watching this as well. And they feel like you're a celebrity because they get to hang out with you in these classes. So I love watching that happen. I love meeting everyone also in the graduation meetings. Every single month after you graduate, we will still meet and talk about your business and help you along. So we're never, pushing you off the cliff. You're always at hand here. But yeah, we give you everything that you need to build your own business, which includes helping people live their own truth. And now that can be inserted into anything that you're already doing or want to be doing, because intuitive art is just a tool. Our coaching framework is just a tool. And it's a damn great tool. So yeah, any questions, let me know. Carrie, anything?
Oh, so much. So I was going to ask, well, who's it for? And you've kind of answered that in what you're saying. But I do want to give a shout out for at least one group that it is for. And it's because it's the group that I come from, right? I came from, I just wanted to help people. I wanted to be a coach, right? I wanted to use my skills, which come down to listening, being intuitive, right? Like I got other skills, but ultimately I just wanted to show up and be me, because I knew that showing up and being me tended to help people, right? So that's where I was. And I was a coach, and I had been through a coaching certification that had a framework that was like questions and worksheets and just stuff. And not that it doesn't work, and not that I wasn't a good coach, but what I learned inside of this program, the full program, is how to help people so much faster, right? Like how to really help people to get the multidimensional results that I was looking for, the multidimensional results that people get when they work with Rachel, which, by the way, the reason I wanted to work with Rachel was because I knew someone who was working with her and was getting, and she was that person that's like, I hardly ever work and people just keep sending me money. Like I was like, I want that. I want that. And I remember telling Rachel, like, I just want to show up and be awesome. And by learning this stuff, right, that's what I get to do now. I get to show up and be awesome. So one, it's definitely for anyone who wants to be a more effective coach, right? Who wants to really help their clients with more than, I don't want to say just tactics, but just help your clients break through faster. Like it is definitely for you. But it's for so many other groups of people. Rachel, do you want to talk about that? I mean, I feel like it's for anyone who actually wants multidimensional results in their life.
Yeah. I feel like if you're feeling a little bit of curiosity in yourself right now, then it's for you, because we have counselors, artists, estheticians, massage therapists, professionals, admins, psychics, police investigators, like occupational therapists, nurses. There are so many kinds of people who can benefit from this. Business consultants, strategists, engineers. I could go on, but what I love about this is because you're learning the framework for how you create your life, and you're learning how to tap into yourself with more confidence and clarity. You're learning how to get any question answered that you could possibly have in a way that's personalized to you or your client. And that's just how to up your life game and how to up someone else's life game. Like imagine if you were in a place where you just knew how you felt about something, so you knew the right way to go. You could help someone else find the right way to go. What is missing from a lot of other courses, whether it's coaching or not, is sure, they could be providing provocative questions. You can help people find an answer, but where is that answer coming from? Is that answer coming from a limited belief? Is that answer coming from like fear or guardedness, or is that answer coming from the place of true alignment and true security, and like that is the answer that's really going to help you? That is the answer you always want. You want the answer that comes from the place of, all right, we haven't even really talked about the higher self, but it's like your higher self, your truth, your slice of God, source, if you want to call it that. That's the part of you that sees ahead. That's the part of you that knows what you've already created vibrationally, what you want in your life, where you want to go, what your potential is. It sees it. It's like, oh, potential over there, right? And your feedback system, your body, how you feel about something, that is like your hot and cold game, right? Have you ever played that? So your higher self sends you those clues of, yes, excitement, curiosity, go that way. Whatever you're thinking about right now, do that. That is toward potential. You walk that way, you walk toward your potential. And if it's from a different place, if you're like cold, if you're feeling constricted, if you're feeling afraid, that's a no, like not on the right path. That's not going to advance you. You're not going to get anywhere going that way. And that's really simplified because you can be afraid of something that is a yes for you, of course. I have a video on that if you want to watch it. But if you can master that relationship, then there's nothing out of reach for you. And you get the benefit of knowing that life is a remarkable, joyous journey that's here for you to express yourself in and relax in, and know that if you're feeling good, you're on the path to your potential, and everything that you do is advancing you. And so life isn't like I'm sacrificing myself to make this so I can retire, or I'm doing this hard thing that's not fun right now, but it's going to get me to where I want to go. That's a lie. You can't stress yourself to happiness. It doesn't work, right? And so we feel like the journey feels the same as the destination. So if you want your destination to feel exciting and prosperous and good, then that's how you want to feel on your way there, because that's how you know you're getting there. So we teach you how to do that, how to master that life skill of being in alignment, getting on your path to your potential, and having that path be extraordinary. And that's a skill that anyone can benefit from, and if you can teach that to someone, which is what we help you do, you're going to have clients lined up around the block.
Well, that's what I was just thinking, is like, this is for anyone who, whether or not they ever want to teach it to anybody, who recognizes, oh crap, I'm on the journey and it does not feel like the destination, right? Like, then this is for you. If you're on an entrepreneurial journey, or even like the pre-entrepreneurial journey, the figuring out, like, could I even, right? You're in that place in your life where you're recognizing, I want to work towards something that's going to feel amazing, but right now does not feel amazing. And I feel like I kind of have to sacrifice and push hard and all the things. Then this is definitely for you. Save yourself that journey that Rachel and I, like, we both did it, right? Like, save yourself now.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about this. I'm feeling it. I know it's in there. I created it, but I'm thinking about the tuition, and though it's not nothing, it's such a deal. It is such a deal for what you get, and you get lifetime access to the program, and it's a no-brainer for sure. Or as Abraham sometimes says, it's a full brainer, because it's the best idea ever.
And I just put a comment in our comments. I don't know if it's coming. I meant to send that privately to you, but I was like, do you have a link? Where do people go to check it out, to sign up to? And yes, about tuition, how many tens of thousands of dollars have we invested in programs that don't, that are focusing on the wrong thing? Like this is such a minimal investment for a focus on exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's funny, for a few years I stopped investing in coaching and programs because Sonia Choquette told me, like, aren't you tired of paying people for things you already know? And I was like, yeah, I am actually, thanks. And so what I love about our program is that people go through it who have coaching certifications, who have been coaching in their own businesses for a long, long, long time. It's what they do. And they tell me that they've never seen it laid out this way before. They've never seen this framework so clearly before, and it's radically changed how they work in their businesses. So you're not going to just learn something you already know in here. I can assure that to you. Like, this is new stuff. This is detailed, next level, highly organized. I have our level 1 manual here. So if you sign up for the full program, you get this printed manual, which is the whole course. We make sure that we cover all kinds of learning styles, and we just have things available in multiple options so that you can learn the best you can. But let me tell you where to go. So if you want to learn more about this, go to intuitiveartacademy.com/me, M-E, and I'll put that in the comments. Go check it out. If you look at the video that's like most of the way down the page, it will break down the differences between the levels because we have 3 tiers that you can join. If you look in the middle of the chart in that page, that's where the full option is, and that's where this training is that we're talking about today. The coach training, the business integration, the personal time with me. So that's where that is. And yeah, check it out. Feel free to sign up. The live training starts November 18th, but if you get in this week, I'll send you a special present in the mail. So,
ooh, yeah. Rachel loves sending things in the mail, so you should
help it.
You should definitely get in this week. And what I want to say about you, Rachel, is, and anybody who's like wondering, should I do it? Should I do it now? One, listen to your inner guidance. If you get, and Rachel has a great video on that. And I watched this video, Rachel, one time, and then I've used this in almost every sales conversation that I've ever had, which is like, what does it feel like, right? Like ask your body, does it feel like a yes? Does it feel like a no? And then there's always this caveat, which is so helpful, which is if you get a yes, immediately followed by a no, right? Mm-hmm. That's because your brain registered the yes and freaked out. Mm-hmm. Because then fear stepped in. So that's been like super, super duper helpful. But what I wanted to say is it's such a gift to be able to, and I don't know if I don't think it'll embarrass you, but like to really watch a master at work. And yes, the course is, I mean, you could go through it without coming to the live courses. You could get.
Yeah, people do it all the time. Yeah.
Yes. But it just, for no extra dollars, right? It had such an incredible depth, and it's just different when you get to be there live with Rachel. So I highly encourage you, especially, I know that's the kind of learner that I am. I am always going to do better if I can show up and be awesome. So, oh my goodness, it's such a treat, right? To be able to like be in the live class. It's like the difference, but you know how like Oprah and Christina Aguilera and like a bunch of people have these like master classes that they sell. It's like, yeah, you could buy the class that they sell and watch the videos and learn how to, or you could like be live with Christina Aguilera and have her listen to you. Like, which would you do? And if it didn't cost any more, like, what the heck? Of course you're going to show up to be live with Christina Aguilera. So Rachel, you are Christina Aguilera in this scenario, or Oprah, you could be her too. But that's number one. Number two is we cannot overstate what a good teacher you are, Rachel, and how you have thought about people's learning styles and how people are going to receive information. And I've never been part of a program or certification that was, or honestly, even like college courses that were so thoughtfully laid out and had literally like, oh, I wish there was something for, oh, there it is. Oh, if only I had, oh, there it is. Like, everything that you need to succeed is there for you. And it is laid out in a way that makes so much sense. And this blew me away about you, Rachel, because you're psychic. And I had this idea in my head that psychics were like airy fairy. And it is so very logically like laid out. I am an educator by trade, and I could not have, there's no way I could have structured this so beautifully and so brilliantly. So kudos to you for that. And for anybody who's like wondering, if I sign up now and can't make this or fall behind or whatever, like, oh my gosh, everything is there and laid out in such a structured way. You just can't go wrong. So
thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I worked with a curriculum designer for level 1, and because of that, we're certified by the International Coach Federation to offer continuing coach education hours. And let me tell you, that process is very intensive. Like, they want all the information, everything you're teaching, what the homework is, how much time you're spending. And so I've done that process several times, because you have to renew every year. And every year we don't have a problem because it's so well laid out and thoughtful. And then in level 2, it's the same thing. It's, what do you need to know? How can you practice it so you can internalize it? And how can you build upon the skills that you just learned before? So yeah, it's simple and easy to follow. It's all organized in a really professional way. And you can even mark your progress as you go, which I love. So yeah, I don't know what else you want to know, but if you have any questions, let us know. You can reply to any email that you get from us, or put it in the comments in our on YouTube. You can ask in our Facebook group. If you go to facebook.com/groups/Intuitive Art Academy, we are there. We are posting, and you can post your drawings. You can ask questions. Carrie, you look like you had something else to say.
Well, I do, because this question just popped in. So I'm betting that there's a person out there who is thinking about this question. Oftentimes when we're making business investments, so 2 things are coming to me. One is a Facebook post I saw this morning by someone who's like, if you want people to invest in you, you need to be willing to invest in yourself, right? So that's number 1. But number 2, like so many, right, people, when making business decisions or making, educational decisions, right? When you choose to go to college, you're thinking about like, am I going to get the best return on my investment? What is the best return on my investment? And lots of times I know when I'm looking at programs, I'm asking myself, like, how quickly am I going to recoup this investment? And so I just wondered if you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say that our full tuition is about the cost of one college class. One college class, and our program takes you like soup to nuts, like no business to business. So even at that, it's totally worth it, even just for self-development. But how fast you recoup is up to you, and it's up to what you want to offer to the world. There's all kinds of ways to make money. Some of them are slower than others. Some of them are faster than others. If you decide you want to do a full day workshop and it's $500, then getting a couple people enrolled in that will completely take care of the cost of your tuition. If you want to be a YouTube star and then recoup your money from AdSense, it's going to take you a year or so. If you just work on that, but that's okay too. It's really up to what you want to do, and we help you figure that out. Like, we go over the business models that you could choose, and what are the benefits of each, how do each work. Like, if you want to be a workshop provider, if you want to be a coach, if you want to just teach 1-hour classes, if you want to do one-off sessions, like, how can you structure that so that you make really good money and that the money keeps flowing consistently? So it's stuff that we definitely take care of for you and help you learn and make an educated decision about, and go in the direction that feels most aligned for you.
Well, and that's the best part, right? Is alignment is always going to be the right answer, right? Alignment always is. And that's the beauty. I don't know, what I found is like sometimes the way that my investment is recouped isn't actually through my business, right?
Mhm.
It's just all of a sudden the money showed up. And that's okay too. But like, you cannot go wrong with focusing on your alignment ever. And that's like a massive component of what we're doing. It's
Yeah.
so yeah. So that was it. I felt that question. My little antennae were up. So thanks for answering.
Yeah, I'll also mention one other thing is that we do have opportunities for our graduates to make money through us. So we have an affiliate program, and if you promote our products and services, then you get a commission off of that. But we also get sessions booked and intuitive art parties booked through our website, which we give to our graduates. So as long as you meet certain requirements, like you have a GoToMeeting account or a Zoom account, and all that stuff, then we farm those out and we give them to graduates. And I know one person who had just graduated from level 1, she got a party just a week after that. I mean, we had our graduation session and then she taught a class and she made $180. And so, like, it can happen so fast. This is not a program that takes years to recoup, and it's not like that. It's up to you, of course, if you want to if you even want to have a business, but if you want it, it's easy.
And I'll just say, having invested in a lot of programs, if I had seen what is inside of this on somebody else's webinar, or what, like, my expectation is that this program would be at least 3 times the cost.
Oh yeah,
at least. And then the fact that we have ongoing, right? Like, it's not like you take our course and then you don't ever talk to us again. Like, we're meeting with you guys once a month. Like, that's amazing. That is something that people pay an additional $10,000 for, to have those once a month meetings with. So it is just an incredible value. And as you know, I cannot say enough good things about it. But I really just want, I want those of you who are watching and feeling your yes, and feeling that excitement and feeling that curiosity, to allow yourself to feel the yes, to lean into your yes, and to relax around the yes. It's going to be okay. It's going to be the best thing you ever did.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll leave it there. We've kept you for an hour. If you're still here, just join us, because there's obviously some resonance and we can't wait to meet you. So lots and lots of love. If you have any more questions, let us know, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.